naye nkwadde Senate ba Democrats basingayo obungi naye House erina obuzibu bungi mwadde obuzibu bungi ba Paul Ryan abo ba speakers abo bonna bagundi speaker akyalemeddwa okukola ki speaker wa House oyo akyalemeddwa okumuwa majority okukola ne president ne bakola ebintu ebyamaanyi kati Paul Ryan bwe yakoze budget ye ya president nze yagamba nti yanze njagala ku appealinga Obamacare abatuuliza bannaffe Obamacare eyo newankubadde etwala ssente nnyingi nnyo wabula Abamerika babadde balina system y'okuba nti nno abantu bw'olwalira mu America ng'oli mwavu oyinza obutabeera na insurance nga balina millions z'abantu nga 40 oba 80 abatalina ki insurance kati nga bw'olwala tewali akukolako oyinza n'okufa kakati president kuba yajja n'agamba nti tetuyinza kubeerawo nga babadde bakikolako okumala emyaka n'emyaka kuviira ddala ku President Roosevelt omusajja yamufaako gwe bayita president agundi gwe bayita Senator Kennedy wa Massachusetts yagikolako n'akikolako ne Hillary Clinton yakikolako mu birembe gya President Clinton nekirema nga tebaagala kubeera na system nga ya Canada oba ya Bungereza social welfare system eyamba abantu abo bonna nti tolina kusasulira insurance bw'obanga oli mutuuze wansi olwala bakulako kyere kati president kwe kugamba nti bulijjo abantu nga bagamba ba company nti tuyinza kuhiringa abantu kubahiringa abantu healthcare costs ziyitiridde zigenda tugaana kuhiringa abantu era Detroit mu birembe bya Clinton ne Reagan nga bagamba Detroit eremesezza ebintu kubanga bw'obeera ng'ohirinze omusajja akola emmotoka mu Detroit olina okumuteekako ssente nnyingi neza healthcare n'obanga emirimu gino ne batandika ogitwala China ne batandika ogitwala India South Africa n'awalala nga bagamba nti cost y'okubeera n'omukozi mu United States healthcare gundi okusasulira insurance ya health ebalemesezza ebintu kakati president we yawulira ebintu ebyo byonna n'agamba nti kyekizibu ekiriwo ekyamaanyi kwe kukikola ki n'agamba nti kale kankole Obamacare yatandise okukola emirimu gyayo yatandise okureducinga healthcare costs mpola mpola ba Republicans abamu bebasingayo okubeera ne ba governors mu states ezimu nezigamba nti tetwagala Obamacare kuba evudde mu ba Democrats nti tetugenda gitwala kubanga evudde mu ba Democrats kuba yava President wa Obama betuganye gitwala newankubadde mu states ngeya Texas erimu abantu bangi abaava batasobola ku avoiding insurance kakati bagenda bamenye kampola mpola ne balaba nti omusajja emyaka 3 gyonna mu Obamacare basasulira buli muntu yenna ali ku insurance eyo kakati gobera governor mu Republican noga nti sijagala obo osubiza abantu bo sente nyingi nnyo next state yobo gisubiza sente nyingi nnyo ate nga kwegante kyetaagisa kakati Paul Ryan we bwandise budget ye yaga nti Obamacare ngenda gikola ki njagala gijja mu bintu kuba etwala sente nyingi president leero yayimiridde n'agamba nti waliwo entitlements zotayinza kukwatako ngeza social security ngeza gundi ya healthcare ya government gyewa abantu toyinza gikwatako kale we tuli mu lutalo twebungulula mpola mu lutalo n'abalala naye ffe tuli bamukisa okuba nti tuli mu mulembe guno omulembe omubama nga we kutuguyita era nga tulinayo bannaffe abalala ba Republicans Uganda ba Republicans era tubasalutinga bonna naye nga kyetwagala ba Republicans bo kye bagamba nti sajja mmwe ba Democrats bwemukwata ku ssente mudduka nazo ne muzoonoona mu bintu eby'abantu ng'okusasulira obwana obuto okusoma tagenda ku ssomero nga tebunywedde mata ng'okukola ki kati ebintu ebyo bibadde bakutte wano nga bibireetera obuzibu singa naffe tulina obuzibu bwe butyo bwa trillion nga 16 nga ze tuli mu debt n'okuba nti America ina trillion nga 16 mu debt kwega ebbanja ddene nnyo ebbanja eryo libeeredde nnyo nga lisinga gundi yammwe liyitiriza nnyo libaleetera obuzibu bwotalabanga kakati America weeri naye politics n'omuntu wa bulijjo tubitunuulidde ne tugamba nti tebali bubi nnyo bannaffe balina ssente nnyingi ffe tetwogera ku trillions nga bwe boogera ku trillions of dollars. President naye kibadde kikoze bubi president nti buli we bafuna ka crisis buli bafuna waliwo yeyagamba nti waliwo manufactured crisis eziri financial zimuleetedde obuzibu kuba Republicans buli we batuuka nga bagamba nti ebintu bino byoliko kakati tugenda kusiba government tugenda kukolawo sequester egenda kukwata sente zonna sequester yakayita ekwata billioni nga 85 nezijja mu government oba eyagala oba teyagala. Kati government erina okukyuka netunula negamba nti billioni 85 tunasala kituleke ki defense nebanga esaffarinze waliwo bill gye baali bagezaako okuyisa egamba nti tetujja kukwata ku bantu kuba defense kubanga America ekyali super power erina amaato mangi nnyo amanene agali mu nsi agapolisinga ensi yonna. No kati wetuulira North Korea nga threatening anti egenda yanyigidde South Korean exercises na America era yagakuba America yakwata kuba Japan oba nekwata kuba South Koreans ebeerese lutalo kwega America ino okubeera ready. Chuck Hager bemuwulira nti babalonda n'abalala bagundi ba Senator Kerry ebyo byonna obuzibu bamuwadde bizze ensi emabega baba tebabalonze mangu. Kirungi kya democracy ate nga kibi ebintu buli muntu yenna gwolonda wabanga muntu nga gwe mukulembeze nga oli political appointee era olina omuyisa mu parliament oba olina omuyisa mu congress ne senate okumuapprovinga mu committees ez'amaanyi. Kale obuzibu president wabadde nabo kubanga alina ebifo bingi byatanajjuza kubanga bamutiisizza nti bw'obaleeta tugenda bayisa mu kyoto kyotalabanga. Omusajja Chuck Hagel bamuyisa mu kyoto n'omulala Kerry bamuyisa mu kyoto nga tebannabalonda ate nga bano bakulembeze b'amaanyi nnyo mu ensi gye bayita super power ebeetaaga ate ng'eri mu lutalo nga tennamaliza ntalo zeerimu eza Afghanistan ne Iraq. Kale awo nno politics wa mu United States bwati waali naye nga fefe n'abatunulidde United States olusi twewuunyamu ne tugamba nti oba democracy gyatulaze eno nga waliwo gridlock oyo ng'abantu bakaayana abakola ki tebakkiriza president kulonda bintu bye iyo gye twagala okulaga naffe twandiyagadde okubeera ne system engunjufuko okusingako awo kugamba newankubadde bannaffe basomye nnyo era babadde nayo emyaka 2 naye batulaze nti musajja waffe omuddugavu tebamuyisizza mangu bulungi nnyo nga bwetwandiyagadde omulabanga bamuyisa kubanga abaddugavu bagambira ddala nti emyaka 34 babadde balonda n'abeeru nga batwala omuntu gwe babawadde ne basirika n'asalawo policies ne basirika n'akola kino ne basirika emyaka 34 nga balonda abakulembeze abatali baddugavu. Naffe twandiyagadde okulaba nti omuddugavu waffe we bagamba abaddugavu nti bw'aba asazeewo ekintu temutulaga nnyo bukuusa, temutulaga nnyo kunyiiga, temutulaga nnyo kuba nti nno ebintu byakoze bibi temwagala kukola naye, temwagala kukolagana naye, temutulaga nnyo kintu ekyo abaddugavu kye bagamba. Abaddugavu baakuna babadde kuno emyaka n'emyaka era abalina legitimacy okwogera ku bintu ebyo ebyobukulembeze. Mukama yabawa omukisa ne bafunayo Barack Obama bagita miracle naye we baali balonda bamulondera ddala 99% abaddugavu bamulonda n'abasipaana n'abakyala abaami n'abakyala abalina okwagala okwenjawulo nabo bamulonda. N'olw'ensonga eyo Barack ayimiridde ku bantu newankubadde bw'abadde yalonda abantu tawaddeeyo nnyo baddugavu, tawadde nnyo bakyala bifo by'amaanyi era adda mu beeru babadde alonda mu kale. Ekyo kintu kikulu nnyo okukijjukira n'okumujjukiza nti abantu abaasinga omulonda era abamuteeka ku kateme be basipaana abakyala n'abaami abaagala abantu mu ngeri ey'enjawulo n'okola ki n'abo abalala abaddugavu abali mu nsi muno. Ebizibu bingi naye tebigenda tukanga kubanga tumanyidde ddala nti ensi gye tulimu etambula ensi gye tulimu era ebintu bingi ebigenda mu maaso ensi gye tulimu ekyuse siemu nga mulabye papa we bamulonda namba yaffe wano muwuliza radio Uganda USA number 1 radio mu Boston wano radio Nantamegwa era namba yaffe wano eri 781 475 486 781 475 simanyi oba mbadde muwuliriza ebintu ebiriwo wano simanyi oba mbadde muwuliriza ebintu ebiriwo wano mu gundi mu South America musajja Chavez yafa oboyaga kwogera ku kya Chavez oboyaga kwogera ku kya papa oboyaga kwogera ku kino kyonna kyeyagala okwogerako tukusaba ojje owulirize kye twogerako onyumyemu naffe tukusaba okube onyumyemu naffe 781 475 486 tukusaba okube oyogeremu naffe otubuulire ku gye tubaale twogerako ebintu ebitunyumira ffe nga bannayuganda abalaba politics w'ensi yonna ebintu ebitunyumira ffe nga bannayuganda abalaba engeri ensi gyetambula gwe weetambulira access eriwa kubanga bwotunuulira ekisinziiro ky'ensi weetambulira weyeetooloolera bwewa tulina okumanya ekisinziiro bwe kiri mbasaba mutukubire twogeremu mutubuulire ekigenda mu maaso ku politics n'omuntu wa bulijjo ku ssaawa zino 781 475 kamba kubireyo kajingo ka mwami wano gwe bayita Movax kulira radio eno Nantamegwa era agiteekese ku mutindo wano gwe twagala ennyo muno mumanyi bateereko kuba mugana wake kijewa kojewa mbaya kicho mbale nkunonye wiki eno yonna ungamba batandise already empya era naye kubanga eyo gyowuliriza n'erinnya lyennyini bw'oba togenderedde olowooza ye radio Uganda USA naye munawe tugezaako abantu bagiwulire baganye kati gwe muganda wange oyinza okuba ng'otogiwulira mu butuufu ne music kwe tukuba alinga wa radio Uganda USA ne programu eziriko zennyini zokolindeko ne programu eziriko zennyini ziringa za radio Uganda USA ne saundi yennyini bw'ogibeera okumpi ebintu obiwulira mpale mbaya wangi ngamba mpale mbaya ono tuwulizeeko sirikawo obulwadde bwe buwonye nze gwolaba ne bwonkuba kiboko njagala radio eno radio Uganda USA ebyo bye mugegenya ate oba naffe eri tugiwulire tukutemye mpale mbaya ngukutemye omukulu ya kuba mugana wake kijewa kojewa mbaya kicho kigenda mbale nkunonye wiki eno yonna ungamba batandise already empya era naye kubanga eyo gyowuliriza n'erinnya lyennyini bw'oba togenderedde olowooza ye radio Uganda USA naye munawe tugezaako abantu bagiwulire baganye kati gwe muganda wange oyinza okuba ng'otogiwulira mu butuufu ne music kwe tukuba alinga wa radio Uganda USA ne programu eziriko zennyini zokolindeko ne programu eziriko zennyini ziringa za radio Uganda USA ne saundi yennyini bw'ogibeera okumpi ebintu obiwulira mpale mbaya wangi ngamba mpale mbaya ono tuwulizeeko sirikawo obulwadde bwe buwonye nze gwolaba ne bwonkuba kiboko njagala radio eno radio Uganda USA ate oba ebyo bye mugegenya ate oba naffe eri tugiwulire tukutemye mpale mbaya ngukutemye omukulu.
Hi, this is JJ. Join me every Saturday on JJ Live here on Radio Uganda USA in Boston, Massachusetts.
muliza Radio Uganda USA amanyiga nze Tendo nadde wano lunaku lwaleero nga mbaleetedde politics n'omuntu wa bulijjo waliwo amawulire mangi ag'okwogerako wiiki eyise abadde wiiki nnungi twalonda president mu Kenya Uhuru president oyo Uhuru Kenyatta mutabani wa Kenyatta era twandibadde tuswadde nnyo singa Uhuru Kenyatta teyafuna bukulembeze omusajja nga yalwanirira Kenya Kenyatta kugamba newankubadde ekiseera kino okuleeta mutabani we naye n'abeera mu politics w'ensi ebintu bya Kenya bwe twabitunuulira nga bannayuganda engeri gye baakola platform yaabwe yatunyumira nnyo era yatukwasa n'obujja ntugaa nti bo nga baterezezza ebyabwe ne babeera ne platform ne babeera ne debates ne balaga ensi yonna nti bantu bagunjufu okutusinga ffe ng'ate omukulembeze waffe ba opposition leaders waffe tubakutte bukwasi tubasiba busibi lwaki tetufuna platform bwetutyo ne tuba debates ez'ensi naziyinza otuyamba naffe ne tubeera ku mutindo nakitunuulira nate nenkitunuulira neŋŋamba nti naye kasita bali mu Great Lakes region era bali mu East African community amawulire amakugamba n'olabira ddala nti Uhuru newankubadde ICC yali emunoonya ku bintu ebyenjawulo byaliwo mu Kenya emyaka emitono egiyise mu elections ezagenda obubi naye tebaamukola ki tebamuyisa bubi bambi bamuwa abannakenya bamuwa obululu Raila Odinga agamba nti mwalimu obubbi kyetwagala okukola katukyuseeko tugende mu kooti naye ng'ebintu babikolanga bintu bya kitegeevu tebiriimu kuttiŋŋana tebiriimu bintu birala byonna tebiriimu ki twandyagadde obikyusaako naffe ne tukola ki ne tubitereezaamuko okusinga nga we biri mbasaba namba yaffe 10781 kanjogere mu luzungu oluusi abantu tebawulira Luganda byinza okuba tebagiwulira 78454989 muyinza okuba mukuba kandabe Gerald kakubeko ku ssimu eno technical person waffe kakubeko ku ssimu eno ndabe oba eyitamu kubanga waliwo abaŋŋambye nti bakubanga essimu egenda mu voicemail naye nga teyitamu texting idde wano naye ngezeeko nate waliwo agikolako wano 78475989 tuwulize kye mugamba okubanga mubadde mugezaako okwogera ku bya Papa oba okwogera ku bya President Kagame oba mwagaladdeko oba temwagaladdeko muyinza okubanga mwagala kwogera ku bya Uhuru nga ICC bwemusonyiye ku bintu ebyo byabadde akola Uhuru Kenyatta tulabe yafunye obukulembeze Uhuru Kenyatta musajja w'amaanyi bamwagala nnyo gamba tumulabye nga ayina ebintu bingi nnyo byayinza okubanga anaakolera ensi naye sekyenamwagalako bwe ambasada waffe Kategaya bwe yafa e Nairobi yagendayo n'amusitula nabambi n'amuteeka mu gundi n'amuteeka mu motoka yamuzzeeka mu nnyonyi yamuzzeeka bamulabanga muntu w'abantu ate temwerabira nti musajja waani musajja wa Kenyatta mutabani wa Kenyatta kwegamba muntu tetuminza mugaana kubeerawo badde nja kubuuzaako mukwano gwaffe wano ave Kenya ngenda mubuuza mu lufuutifuuti munansonyiwa ku bya Uhuru Kenyatta tuweyo obugambo butono kikyalowooza ku Uhuru Kenyatta. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I wanted to say your names so the audience out here could know you. I wanted to talk about Uhuru Kenyatta and what you think of this trend of presidency and what has happened to the nation. Give us a few thoughts.
My name is Njenga, and what I can say is the elections went very well.
Yes.
Kenyans were very peaceful when it came to voting.
Yes.
And we elected Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Yes.
He is the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya.
Awesome.
The elections were held in high capacity.
Yep.
He was going against Mr. Raila Omolo Odinga, son of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and Kenyatta actually did very well. He won overwhelmingly with over 800,000 votes,
yep.
And he won with 50.77% of the required percentage by the IEBC.
Oh wow, yeah, he's we were just saying earlier that he is definitely a son of Kenyatta, who is Kenyatta's son. He needed that. And what do you think of the? Now we have two great Kenyans. We have, of course, Uhuru, and we also have President Obama here. It seems like things favored very much Kenyatta's son. Of course, when we think of Kenya, we can't really help but think that Kenyatta did an incredible job with that country, and that the entire country owed him a great deal of debt to elect the son, even though he had an ICC issue, which has been, I understand, he's been exonerated of that, case. And he is moving forward, which is a wonderful thing. Of course, in the Great Lakes region, we think that the ICC's legitimacy was sort of derailed when they chose a period that does not encompass a lot of the atrocities that have occurred in the Great Lakes region. But to come back to Uhuru Kenyatta, where the people worried that the ICC might come and take him away like a hawk, or was there any worry of that nature?
Well, what I can say is, first and foremost, I'm not defending Uhuru Kenyatta, but this is my point, and this is the point that has been spoken very clearly by the majority of people all over the world. First of all, the ICC was created not for the Western countries. The ICC was created for the African countries. So there are so many factors that we need to consider. Uhuru Kenyatta never incited anybody to go to war. Uhuru Kenyatta was not a candidate for the presidency. The people who are supposed to be on the ICC list is Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga. They are the one who called for mass action. Actually, the person who called for mass action was Raila Odinga. When Raila Odinga called for mass action, people took to the streets and they started killing one another. So what happened after that Uhuru Kenyatta is an ICC suspect, it doesn't get to many people. And I believe the fact that Moreno Ocampo, who was the chief prosecutor for the ICC, decided to pick Uhuru Kenyatta, people even actually voted for Uhuru Kenyatta this time to show the rest of the world, to show the ICC that Uhuru Kenyatta had nothing to do with the violence that occurred in 2008. At the same, on the same token about America and Kenya, people think that because Obama comes from Kenya, that we adore him in Kenya. Majority of the Kenyans, they don't care about Obama. We just see him just like any other Western president who come to Africa and they try to influence the Africans. If you look at the media coverage, the international media coverage about the elections in Kenya, they never reported anything positive. They reported about the anxiety. There were few people who were killed in Mombasa, Kenya, one day before the election, actually during the election eve, which had nothing to do with the elections. But if you looked at CNN that morning, they were broadcasting chaos in Kenya during the election day, and that is total boroni. So Kenya right now is a peaceful country. We have a new president. Raila Odinga is trying to contest the election in Kenya. We believe that the court will do the necessary job. If the court says there will be a runoff, well and good. If the court says that there is no runoff, then Raila Odinga should accept the outcome of the elections.
So in your view, we are not looking at these things in a tribalistic way, but we're looking at them and saying that Uhuru pamoja, let's go ahead as Kenyans, let's to build a country that was the vision of Kenyatta, and that was vision that he laid out for Moi to carry out. And that the little thing that happened, or the incidental that happened, where 1,000 people lost their lives, was just an anomaly in Kenyan politics, and that the country will go on and move on politically in a non-violent way. According to this, is that
well? What I would like to say is, I'm not a tribalist, but what I would say is, Muigai Uhuru Kenyatta was voted in
Yes.
by a majority.
Yes.
He won with over 800,000 votes. So whether he is a Kikuyu, whether he is a Luo, he was elected by Kenyans.
Yeah.
If you look at the electoral map of Kenya, we have 8 provinces.
Yeah.
Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was elected by majority from Central, where he comes from. Rift Valley, where his running mate Ruto comes from. He took half of Nairobi. He took half of Eastern. He took some portion of Nyanza, and he took a portion in Western, and then he took Northeastern. What does that tell you? This is a president of the people. So without any tribal, in Kenya, I'm a Kenyan before I'm a Kikuyu.
Right.
And I don't think people voted Uhuru Kenyatta because he's a Kikuyu. Raila Odinga has been in politics for 50 years.
Yeah.
His running mate, Kalonzo Musyoka, has been in politics for 40 years. So that is like 90 years combined experience, and they had nothing to offer to Kenyans. And Kenyans are tired of old politics. We needed some young people to come in and lead Kenya to a different directions. We are tired of these old people. Raila Odinga is over 65 years old. Uhuru Kenyatta, I think he is 55 years old. So the age also mattered among the young people.
Now tell me, what did you think of Martha Karua?
Well, Martha Karua, she is a nice, strong woman, but there is no way she could have been elected in Kenya. Because I think we are not there. No, I think we are there, but she is not the right candidate. Martha Karua, she is a full dictator. You don't tell her what to do. It's either her way or the highway.
Oh, that's the thought. I liked her message of telling other people that, look, get away from impunity, get away from corruption. She's she has been strong against folks who are corrupt. And there's been a lot of corruption in the whole Great Lakes region. And I don't know whether by, choosing the old guard, we are saying to, just like you said, stay away from the old guard, whether we are going to be able to fight corruption. I didn't hear Uhuru's platform on corruption. I didn't hear what he had to say about corruption.
Well, I think Uhuru Kenyatta is the right person to fight corruption. Okay. Uhuru Kenyatta has been the deputy prime minister for the last 5 years. Yeah. He was the finance minister for 4 years, actually like 3.5 years. Yeah. And Uhuru Kenyatta is a person who doesn't like impunity. Yeah. He fights corruption at all levels. And Martha Karua is a nice lady to fight corruption. Yeah. The problem with Martha Karua, she has been there in politics since Kenyatta time. Yeah. She is an old timer. Yeah. And this time people wanted somebody young. Yeah. Uhuru Kenyatta just got in politics in 2002, 10 years ago. Yeah. And he has, before that, he never held any public office.
So you think that, this election is being elected not because of name recognition, even though that played a part, but it's because he brought fresh ideas. He was new on the scene, and people were sort of tired of the old guard. They wanted something fresh, something new, someone younger.
Well, I think all those are factors. Factor number one, he is a young man. Yeah. I think the name also played a big role. Right. And number three, the ICC case also played a big role because the Kenyan community wanted to send a message to the ICC and to the Western countries that Uhuru Kenyatta is not responsible for the atrocities of the 2007-2008 election.
Do you see, the ICC, it still has a legitimacy issue and it's going to continue. But given what has happened in the Great Lakes region, of course, it's not just Kenya alone. We've seen Rwanda, we've seen Uganda killing fields of Africa. We've seen Sudan, how are we going to bring about a different way of Africans looking? How do we get Africans to recognize the ICC? Because we know we have so many people, the Sudanese leader is wanted by the ICC. Now this exoneration of some Kenyans. Of course, I'm sure if they exonerate Uhuru, they will exonerate others. Do you think that it will take hold in Africa, or should it change its approach?
Well, what I think is, first of all, as I said in the beginning, the ICC was created to punish the African.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we have somebody like George Bush, somebody who went to Iraq, killed innocent people,
Yeah.
and because America is not part of the ICC, nobody can touch him. So I believe some of the people, maybe like al-Bashir, about the Darfur, they should be punished somehow.
Yeah.
But I think the African Union, we should have an African unity whereby we have our own courts instead of going to the European courts or the Western countries' court to bring our issues there. Otherwise, if we bring our issues to the Western countries and they have interest with our natural resources, of course they want to punish somebody like al-Bashir, and I believe he should be punished. But Africa should come together and come up with a process of prosecuting those who commit crimes against humanity.
Oh, I think I agree with you on that. That there should be a different court of our making. A court of our making, even though a lot of these countries are signatories to it, but it did not address there's so many gaps with the ICC, and I think at some point in time we'll have to find a way of finding a court that can address many issues that we have. Wow, this is I'm glad you talked about that, and I'm just ecstatic that Kenya showed an incredible example of democracy at work. To see the debates was an eye opener to all similar. There are two countries, three: Ghana, and Sudan, Southern Sudan, and now Kenya, showing incredible exemplary, politicking, which was, the politics was incredible. The debates were incredible. And we're just elated as East Africans to see that, among us, contrary to what has been happening in East Africa with Rwanda, with Uganda, with Zaire, DRC, that these can be little crops growing in politics where we see some hope, that at some point in time we'll get it right, that we don't have to kill all the opposition, that we can have debates as gentlemen and ladies and actually come up with an election that works for all the people. And I'm so glad that Uhuru, made it, and that he's going to be the leader of Kenya. And I hope that trend continues. And I hope we demand that as all East Africans, that this process should not be mangled, should not be taken by other leaders, but should be, observed international, through the East African federations, through the East African community, and utilized all the time.
That is true, but what I think is most of the African countries like Uganda, they have been using the old constitution. In Kenya, we just passed a huge package of constitution, which is similar to the one here in the United States, whereby a president cannot run for 2 terms. You go 2 terms, you're out. You run 1 term, you go in. The second term, you are defeated. You cannot again. You leave. We also have this thing now whereby judges and the cabinet members, the president can nominate them, but they have to be confirmed by the parliament and the Senate. Now we have the Senate.
I love the idea of the Senate.
Exactly. So in Kenya, the politics have really changed, and I think with that, it's going to reduce impunity, corruption, and all that kind of nonsense that goes on in Africa. And I hope Uganda too, they do the same. The key thing is to pass a new constitution whereby nobody is above the law. In Kenya right now, we have so many politicians in jail who are accused of corruption. So, and I think the same suit should follow all over Africa.
All over Africa. I couldn't agree more. I thank you so much for your time. I know you have other activities that you're going to. And we're just glad you came by with this program of politics and the daily person. So we're kind of glad that things are going well in Kenya, and we wish him well. We wish Uhuru Kenyatta well. There's I think the liking of Obama has been a great thing for Kenyans. I don't think there's anyone who would say they dislike him. He hasn't visited Kenya that much.
Actually, most of the Kenyans, as I said in the beginning,
Yeah.
most of the Kenyans, they don't care about Obama.
Right.
And the reason they don't care about Obama is he is just a Western leader, just like anybody else. He is a son of Kenya, and yes, we are not disputing that. But this is a president who up to now has not called and congratulate Uhuru Kenyatta for winning the elections. So you can see how Western countries try to influence us to support them. Another thing is, which is very true, he has been a great supporter of Raila Odinga. And you cannot be a president of America and you give donations or you showing outline support of one candidate. That is not likable. So I know majority of Kenyans, we love Obama, he is our son, but on the politics side, we don't really like him. And most of the Kenyans, even up to now, they don't care whether Obama visits Kenya or if he doesn't visit. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Well, one last question now that you mentioned that is that we have seen, Kenyans go through all the transitions. Do you think, so he is going to be there for 4 years?
Uhuru Kenyatta is going to be there for 5 years.
For 5 years, at least 5 years in politics. And after that, he can,
he can run again.
He can run again.
If he's defeated, he's gone.
He has to go.
Yeah.
But, I like the idea of the Senate. I think you guys have done an incredible job. I don't know what plans Kenya has for the East African community, but we are looking forward to a strong East African community that can...
We always do. We want a large economy in East Africa. We want all the countries in East Africa to be strong and stable.
Yeah.
But we cannot do that when other countries like Somalia, Uganda, Congo, they are falling apart.
Yeah, they are falling apart. And we need to find a way of embracing them, of leading them to the same kind of elections that we had in Kenya. Because right now we have M23 in the DRC. There are people who are suffering incredible losses of life, in the DRC and beyond. Now, one last question that I wanted to ask you has to do with entitlement. When the debates were taking effect, they talked so much about, land Kenyatta has and his family. And this entitlement, this idea that they've got so much wealth. And there was a Nubian lady who came out and said that, look, my people have been pushed away. They gave us 500,000 square miles or something like that. And we don't have but 500, square miles left of that land. And our folks are being pushed away. How do we gain back our land?
Well, what I would say, the issue of the land is it's a fragile issue in Africa, because what used to happen when Kenya got independence, all those people who were in power, they had those entitlement to get a piece of land from themselves. Yeah. So I think it's a national issue which is very delicate and has to be addressed from grassroots. How did you acquire your land? Yeah. Did you buy your land? Did you get it from the government, or did you snatch it from the people? Right. So I think it's a very sensitive issue, but in Kenya we are coming along, because for the last 10 years we have seen the government take back a lot of plots in Nairobi. Okay. Because what happened during the Moi era is people even used to grab plots meant to build public toilets, public bathrooms, plots that were meant for bus stops. Yeah. But Kibaki government, when Kibaki came in 2002, they have been able to take the land back. Yeah. But now there's some people like Uhuru Kenyatta who still owns huge piece of land. But it's a delicate issue because they have the title deeds, they have sold actually majority of the land. Yeah. So to come and tell them that this land does not belong to you, it's a legal process and it's a very delicate issue.
And the delicacy, but you trust Uhuru will do the right thing.
I think he'll do. Right heart. Uhuru has the right heart. He is not corrupt and he is against impunity.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope Uganda takes the same thing, and Museveni should go. I think it's time for Museveni to go. He has been in power for a long time. The old guards need to go. Yeah.
The old guards need to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Muliza radio Nantamegwa Radio Uganda USA kulize bannaffe tutuuse ku nkomerero ya program yaffe y'ekiro kya leero era Sam Njenga yabaddeko. Sam Njenga musajja wa Uhuru era amwagala nnyo abayinza n'omuwa obwambasada wano engeri gy'abadde amwogerera naye mbebaza okuba nti muwuliza Radio Uganda Nantamegwa Radio Uganda USA Nantamegwa namba yaffe 78 475 muyongere okuwuliza Radio Uganda USA kubanga tubaleetako programs ez'amaanyi. Tulina program ya Agundi magazine on air Marion Baiwa ne Afro Focus tulina ebintu bingi ebyokubaleetera twagala mu connecting naffe tugere ffenna tubeere connected muleme kubeere mu China mu India mu Russia nga temuwuliza bintu byammwe nga bigenda mu maaso. Abaddugavu bali mu lugendo badduka batono baziwadde abantu ab'amaanyi ne papa bamulonze kakati kyo temukiraba. Tetuli bubi nnyo wano era mwongere okuliza Radio Uganda USA number 1 radio music ambaleke n'obujingozi buno obw'abantu bamwe mwagala ennyo abali ku Radio Uganda USA.
Looking for cheap tickets to Uganda? Then ABS Travel has the answer. We sell cheap tickets to Uganda where we let you pay in installments as well. For more information, please call us at 212-447-1313 or you can also contact us at flyabs.com.